Hello guys and welcome back. So in the last video we created the wallpaper class, the model, and then we added some wallpapers as dummy data for preparation of the home screen. Okay, now let's get started with the home screen. So with the profile we can close this wallpaper class, we can close and save it. Now here in the screens, let's right click, new folder, let's create our home screen. Okay, .dat. So this is going to be a stateful widget. This is going to be our home screen. Okay, now here we just need to return a scaffold. Okay, a scaffold which is going to say, maybe let's have an up bar. So this up bar of course is going to have the text which says WallShare or app name, and then down here we can have a body of the center which says home screen. And then now if we come back here, instead of calling our profile screen here, we can directly call our home screen. Okay, great. So now that we have the new home screen here, let's go ahead and hot restart our application so that it starts in the home screen, which is this one. Okay, now we can remove that. Now if we want to access the profile screen, we can add the avatar here to click to go to our profile screen. Okay, so let's get started with our home screen. Okay, this is going to be a lot of widgets in the home screen to create that UI that we want. Okay, so let's go back to the home screen and get started here. So here we're gonna have a lot of content, like to control that the scrolling, and then we also need to have a cursor here, cursor to show the top liked wallpapers. So let me just say it again. We're going to have an up bar here on top first, and then we're going to have the search bar, and then we're going to have a cursor here, and then we're going to have the categories list to select, and then now we're going to have the main grid here. Then all of this screen is going to be scrollable. Okay, so we are going to divide it in a lot of parts here. Okay, and then also when we scroll, we want our search bar to stick on top here. Okay, so to achieve that, we're going to use a combination of widgets. Okay, so first we're going to have a custom scroll view, and then we also need to have a notification listen of the scrolling, and then we're going to have some sliver box adapter. Okay, so let's just get started here without wasting time. So first, let's remove this up bar that we have put here. We're going to have a custom up bar. We're gonna remove that, and then this body, instead of directly putting it as a center here, we will wrap this first in a safe area. Okay, let's wrap with a widget called safe area. All right, now this safe area will have a child. Instead of the center here, it's going to be a stack. So let's wrap this, or let's just click it and then wrap it with the widget. So let's say column, and then change this column to a stack. Okay, and then now this stack will have the children that we want. Okay, so the first child of the stack here. Okay, the reason why we are having all of this, because we need to put a constant keyword here, but I don't want to put it because everything inside here will change. Okay, so the first child here is going to be a main scrollable content. So let's I just want to put comments so that we can follow along properly here. Okay, so main scrollable content. Okay, so this main scrollable content here, first we are going to have a notification listener. Okay, so the child of this is going to be now the scroll view. All right, so before we create all of these widgets down here, let's come up here and then create all the scrolling listeners so that we can just be creating the widgets here. Okay, all right, now let's get started. So first we want to have a notification listener. Okay, so let's create a notification listener up here. Okay, so first let's deal with the scroll notification. Okay, let's add the scroll notification. Scroll notification like that. Okay, now here what we want to do is let's first bring down this, and then first we want to have on notification. Okay, so on notification we're going to have a scroll notification. So this has to be lowercase. We're going to have return this scroll notification, and then we have it like that. So now inside here, we're gonna have something similar like that, but let's just write our own code here. So if scroll notification is, we're gonna say if scroll notification is scroll updated, that's what we want, is scroll updated like this. What we want to do is to do the scroll listener. Okay, so we want to create this scroll, let's call it scroll listener like that. Okay, so what we want to do here is on scroll notification, if is scroll updated notification, we want to run our scroll listener, else here we just want to return true. Okay, return true. Now here on the child, this is when we are going to have a custom. Okay, the custom scroll view. Okay, so let's do custom scroll view. Okay, this is what we're going to return here. Now first let's quickly create this scroll listener on top, because we also need to have a scroll controller. Okay, so let's go up here. So first let's have a string of selected category, which is going to be all by default, and then let's also have a string of a search query. Let's do search query. This is going to be by default empty, and then let's have a boolean not is loading. This is going to be our is scrolled. Okay, is scrolled. This is going to be false by default. And then now let's have a scroll controller, final scroll controller. Okay, now let's have our init state so that we can handle these properly. So init state, inside here we want to initialize our scroll controller. Okay, so scroll controller dot add listener, we're going to have a scroll listener. Okay, now so this is a scroll. Okay, so let's just correct the spelling. Going to have that. Okay, now we also need to create the dispose method. So in the dispose, we want to remove the listener and also dispose. Okay, so let's do scroll controller dot remove listener, and then we're going to remove that, and then we also want to dispose it. Okay, now let's create this method down here. So let's create a void scroll listener, but it's going to be more than this. Okay, so let's change this code a bit. So let's see what our assistant has created here. We're going to have scroll controller dot offset. So let's do maybe greater than 20, and let's do and is scrolled. Okay, that's when we want to to have that. And then now here we can set state the is scrolled to true. Okay, if we have greater than 20 and it is scrolled, we want to have the set state to true. So we can either do it like this, or we can just cut this out of here and then get these and do that. Okay, I think this one looks cleaner. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and then here let's do else if. Okay, else if scroll controller dot offset again is less than 20. So now this is going to be less than or equal to. Okay, and then we can do the same to set it to false. So let's cut this and then do it like the way we've done it above, like that. Okay, so this is going to be our scroll listener, which is that. Now let's continue with our code. So now here in the custom scroll view, we're going to have a controller, which is okay, not that. We're going to have a controller. Okay, you can see that it's already creating this, but let's just create this one. Okay, I'm gonna go back. We're going to have a controller, which is going to come from our scroll controller. Okay, now after that we're going to have a slivers. Okay, so in the slivers here, what we want to do is let's create the animated container. Okay, because we want this to be going away. Okay, so here we're gonna return an animated container. Okay, animated container. Now here we are going to have, of course, the duration. So let's give it this duration of constant of duration. So this we can have milliseconds, not microseconds. Let's have milliseconds of 200. What next? So after the duration, we are going to have the height. Okay, so the height of this is going to be dependent on if it is scrolled. Okay, so first we are going to check if is scrolled. If it is scrolled, we are going to give it a 0 height so that it can disappear. Okay, so if it is not scrolled, we are going to give it like 60, which is the upper height. Okay, something like that. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do here. Now here in the, because after we remove the height, we just want to have some see-through here. Okay, so what we're gonna do here next, we're going to give this animated container a child. This child is going to be animated opacity. Okay, animated opacity. Okay, now let's remove one extra bracket. Now below this animated, let's start with the opacity. So the opacity again is going to be dependent on if it's scrolled. Okay, if this is scrolled, we're going to have the opacity of 0, else we're going to have 1 if it is not scrolled, so that we can show it. Okay, now even here we're going to have the duration, which is going to be the same because this needs to animate the same time. Okay, so we're going to have that duration. Okay, now for the child of this animated opacity, now we need to have the up bar. So here is where we're going to show our up bar. Okay, so maybe for now let's just have a raw widget, because this up bar we're going to have to show it to put it somewhere else. Okay, we're going to have a lot of widgets here. So this first one here is an up bar. Okay, so let's create this up bar. Maybe let's have first children. So the first child, of course, is going to be a text. This text is going to call our app name. So you can see that it wants to help us here. Share, WallShare, which is our app name, and then another child. First we are going to have we can even put the space in between here, and then now here we are going to have, we can have this button for search, but this is not what we want. Here we want to have a circle avatar for the image. Okay, circle let's call our Seco avatar. So the radius, okay, let's keep it like that, the way this our assistant has done it. So I don't want to put this one. So first let's just put the radius to 20, and then I don't even need the background. So this child, I'm going to put an icon, not icon button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy cut this, and then instead of icon button, for now let's put icon, and then this is going to be icon of a person, and then I think that's it. Yeah, so this is going to be our app bar here. This is just a dummy one. We'll remove it from here, we'll create it somewhere. So right after this animated container here, we need to create another widget. Okay, so this animated container, we actually need to wrap it inside the sliver box adapter. Okay, so for all of this to take action. Okay, so let's wrap this under with a widget, which is going to be a sliver box adapter. Okay, yeah, like that. Now if we hot reload, we can see that we have the first part here. Okay, we have the icon here and the WallShare here. Okay, so if we don't want this to be big, we can just change this. Okay, so now if we want also this to sit properly, we can either wrap this with the padding. Okay, if we hot reload, now we can see that it's aligned properly. Okay, so now we have the first part here of the app bar, which is this one. So later on we will create this with its own widget. Okay, so okay, this is just my emulator acting up. Let me just click on wait. Okay, now after this one, we want to create another widget, which is the search bar. Okay, so after this sliver adapter, first I'm just gonna copy. I can either copy it or just create another one. Okay, so let me just copy that. So for this first one, we know it's an app bar, so let's just say animated app bar. Okay, now the next one here, let's create the search bar. Okay, like this. So this also is going to be animated, so let's say animated search bar. So I'm just gonna paste this. Now let's change what we're supposed to change here. It's going to be an animated container. It's going to animate like the same. The height is going to be the same, and then this animated opacity is also going to be the same. It's going to animate the same. Now here we need to return the search bar. Okay, so let's quickly change this widget into a search bar. So the first thing to do is let's start with the padding. So this padding, let's change it. So let's do edge insert dot symmetric. Okay, now here in the symmetric, we need to add the horizontal. So horizontal, let's have 8, and then let's also add the vertical, which is going to be 8.0 as well. Okay, now next we need to change this. So here we're gonna have a text field. Okay, let's do text field, this one. Okay, then on changed, this is going to be, once what we have done with the search is going to be value, and then whatever we're going to put the function is going to be here. So we know that we have a search query on top there, so we can set it for now as unchanged. Okay, now next thing to do here is a decoration. So right after unchanged here, let's do decoration. So in the decoration, let's do input decoration. Now here, first let's start with a hint text. So hint text, we're gonna say search, okay, let's say wallpapers. Okay, search wallpapers like that. This is going to be our hint text. Then after our hint text like that, we're going to have a prefix, which is going to be our prefix icon, which is a search icon, of course. Let's put a comma here. Next, after our prefix icon, what we're going to put is a border, okay, which is going to be an outline border, and this radius, let's give it 30, okay. And then next, I think that's it. We don't need this, okay. Think this is it. Also, now we can hot reload. Now we have a search bar like that, okay. It's coming up, okay. So now after the search bar, let's create now. After the search bar, we have a carousel here, okay. So let's create that. So what we're gonna do again, we are going to copy this, and then let's come down here. Let's do our, here is going to be a carousel widget, okay. Let's come down here and then paste that. So for the carousel, what we're gonna do is, this is not going to have some kind of a special animation like the opacity. We just need to retain it, okay. But it's also going to be inside the sliver box adapter like this, okay. So for now, instead of retaining all of this, what we want to retain for now is just a size box, because we need a package for the carousel, okay. A size box, and then let's give it a height of 200, and then let's also give it a child of a let's actually get first a center, and then with a text of carousel widget, okay. So this has to be a child, okay. The center has a child, and then let's cut this. It's going to have a text of a carousel widget. So for now let's add the constant keyword here, because nothing is changing, okay. Now if we hot reload, you can see that this is where we're going to have the carousel, okay. So also, if we want, we can just put it in the container so that you can see where it ends, but it's fine. We have an idea here, okay. Now next, after the carousel, we're going to have a container where we are going to put the list of categories, okay, where user can choose a category, okay. So for that, again, we are going to just copy this. Let's copy that, and then come down here, then paste it. So this is going to be not carousel, this is going to be our categories. Okay, let's add with frosted glass effect, okay. This is the effect that we want, because we want when we scroll them, they come up here, they've got that frosted glass effect, okay. So let's put a space there, okay. We can put a comma there. All right, now let's create this widget. So in this one, let's remove this size box. Let's have a container. Let's have a container. Okay, container like that, okay. So inside this container, let's put a comma. We can remove the constant keyword. Now this container is going to let's give it first margin. So this is going to be constant of edge inserts, and then this one, let's have it symmetric like this, but we don't need the horizontal maybe for now, okay. We'll see how it will look. And then the height also, let's give this 60. What next? Let's use the clip rect widget, okay. So First, let's give this a child. We have to go ahead, rect this one. Okay, now inside here it also has a child. So now this is going to be a backdrop for our effect that we want. Okay, backdrop filter. Okay, like that. Now for the filter, let's see what we're going to give it. So here we need to say image filter, yeah, like this one, the blur effect. Okay, so looks like let's just go back. It's just doing a lot of things here. Okay, image filter dot blur, and then now we need to make the blur effect here. Okay, so let's get the sigma x to 10, and then the sigma y, this is also going to be 10. Okay, now after that we have to put a comma there. Next we need to have a child here. Okay, so instead of, okay, let's go back. If we use the assistant, it's creating an extra bracket. Okay, so let's create a child which is also going to be a container. Okay, now inside this container, first let's choose the color. So for the color, maybe we can use the scaffold background color. Let's get theme dot of context, and then we need the scaffold background color with that opacity. Maybe let's move it to 8. Okay, and then now let's have a child here of a category. Okay, so now here we need to create a widget for the category list, to show the list of category. Maybe this one we can create it just now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come down here and then create the widget. So let's call this build category. Yeah, I'm gonna say category list. Okay, like that. So we can return a widget. So maybe let's not make it dynamic. Let's just make it a widget like this. Okay, like that. So now inside here we have to return, let's return first of all a size box. Okay, it looks like the assistant knows what we want. So here on the size box, now for this, let's maybe put the height to be 50. Okay, and then we are on a list view.builder, and then it's going to be scrolling horizontally. And then for the categories, we need to get from the wallpaper dot. So let's import this wallpaper class, wallpaper.categories.length. So this is coming from this list of categories. Okay, from the wallpaper class. Okay, now let's get back here. So we're gonna get that, and then here we want to wrap into the padding, but also let's say symmetric, and then let's give it a horizontal of 8.0. and then here we're gonna use a choice chip, not a chip. Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's remove this and then use a choice chip. Okay, so for the label, first of all, let's create the wallpaper here. I mean the category, final category. This is going to come from wallpaper category at that index. Okay, now here for the label, we need to, it's going to be a text which is going to be that category. And then on selected here, we need to get the selected category on top, which we have selected category. Selected category is going to be equal to category. Okay, so why can't we read this? Is selected category. Okay, this is coming from the one that we initialized on top here. Okay, so once you select it, it's going to be equal to that category that we are selecting. Okay, and then now we need to put the onSelected function, which is going to return a selected So here we're just going to say a selected category is going to equal to wallpaper, but here we need to set state. Okay. Now this is going to be like that. There's no need to empty the search. Okay, maybe we can also empty the search query if it is not empty. Okay. So this is, we're just gonna say selected category is going to be equal to category over here. Okay. Once we select, okay, actually this is supposed to be just equal to selected because it's just the same. Okay, even if we do it like that, it's the same. So now what we need to do is just to call this build category over here. Okay, so let's call our build category list, and then if we hot reload our application, we're gonna see the categories like that. Okay. All right, so we need to have a padding here. Let's see. I think we did have, okay, yeah, this is supposed to be horizontal. Then this is supposed, let's correct that frosted. Okay, let's hot reload. All right, now we have the categories, and then once we select, it's going to be equal to that. Okay. So that's it, guys. Next, we need to create the grid of our wallpapers here. But maybe let's end this video right here. This video looks like it's longer. Okay. So thank you, guys, and see you in the next video.